Okay, this is Echoes of the Unseen. It's the first track on my record label, Breathe In, Breathe Out, and I just wanted to take you through a breakdown of the project. Okay, so I guess I'll start probably at the most interesting part, which is going to be the leads. So this is the main lead, sounds like this. Okay, and so basically what I did to make this lead was I started off by writing out these chords. So I'll show you the chords here. Here you can see MIDI for the chords. And basically made the chords first before I made the lead. And this is how they sound. I'm just going to play it with like a normal plain operator patch. So yeah, I think those chords are super emotional. I'm really proud of how they turned out. And let me take you into like the sound design for this. Okay, so here's the massive long chain for this sound design. Let me just delete these because we're not using them. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn everything off and then take you through the process of creating this lead. So it starts off with this sound. This is from Analog Explorations, this preset pack, Keys Dust. Probably one of my favorite sounds from the pack. And so it sounds like this on its own. And then basically just took out some of the low end. And then here, this is basically where the rhythm comes from, is I'm using this gate. So let me just turn that on, enable. And you can see we got side chain from trig. So let's go find trig. I think, where is it? Here we go. So here you can see I have a channel basically with just an operator. If I solo that, you can hear the rhythm of the chords. So I basically wrote out a rhythm here in MIDI. And to do that, I used just a white noise oscillator with 10 milliseconds of decay on it, and then side chaining that to that gate creates the rhythm. So where are we? Yeah. So here you can see this gate has a threshold of -15, and then the release is also being automated. So if I just click on that, see, you can see like little automations on the release. Redux. So the Redux add that nice like metallic top end to it. And then I've got Soothe on here. And that's kind of just controlling the low mids. And then here's basically my dry wet chain. So I've got a dry signal running in parallel to the wet signal here. And this wet signal has a delay with high feedback set to a dotted eighth note, and then crystallizer, and that's not doing any pitching or anything. It's literally just a 16th and an eighth note, really fast, and it's a reversed delay. And then I've got crystalline, and yeah, that's doing pretty long reverb, pretty big reverb. another soothe. And this is only on the wet chain, so what it's doing is it's just kind of taking out some of those mids from all of the effects, which can really build up and start to get quite muddy. And then I've got an EQ after that, again, just like reducing those mids. And then I'm side chaining the wet signal to the dry signal. There you can see it's side chain to lead main, and then pre-effects. So when the sound's playing, all the effects are ducking, and then it's got a high release, like 700 milliseconds, and then they fade back in when the sound stops playing. And then lastly, a soothe at the end. Again, just reducing those low mids. So there's a lot of reduction of those low mids to make the sound nice and clean. And then I just bounce that out to audio. I think when I was mixing it or something, I can't even remember why I bounced it out to audio. I haven't really done much with it. But anyway, then that's not the only layer. I think I got this B layer. So that's got pretty much a similar chain, except it doesn't have that dry wet signal. It just has a delay with 29% mix on it. And then this EQ just taking out the lows and highs. And the sound itself is this, again, from Analog Explorations, Lead Atlas. This one. And again, just following that same thing, the gate. And so together, and so with this song, basically what I wanted to do is like really just drive home this main chord progression because I loved it so much. And certain elements of it weren't really coming through the mix. So I ended up adding like lots of layers. So like there's 2 layers, and I've also got this layer over here. And the reason I did this layer is I really wanted to kind of get this part of that melody to come through the mix, because I just felt like it was such an emotional part of it, and without this lead it doesn't really come through the mix that well. That kind of resolution feels like you don't really hear it, and I just wanted people to hear it. So that layer is another Diva layer. Let's grab that. And so that's dust again. Again, a different, I think this might just be in a different octave. Let's turn that off. Yeah, you can see I'm opening up the cutoff filter on it, and the difference between like the sounds. So it's the same patch, but I think I did some changes to it. Really just opening up that filter did the trick. And then a pretty similar chain. Oh wait. Yeah, so I don't have that dry wet chain, but I also have Redopter added to this, which is just a multiband distortion. And then also the Redux, which helps. taking out some of that low end. And then following that same rhythm, we get that. Okay, so that's one of the leads. So there's quite a few leads, as I said. Then as the track progresses, we get this section. So that's the same lead, as so basically using the B and the A lead here. So I've got the same chord progression that's kind of like running underneath everything, but just basically added these sort of top melodies over it. If I just open this up, you can hear it more clearly. And I did that basically just because I wanted this progression to evolve. I want the track to go to a new place. I don't want to just keep rinsing the same melody over and over again. So it's got like the underlying feeling of the old melody, but just those added like so top line, I guess you'd call it. And then it's also obviously on this layer. Oh wait, I kept the same melody running on that layer. So it's just the B lead layer that's got those new notes on it. And then there's this melody that you start to hear. You hear that basically on the main drop. And so this melody, I actually kind of start showing it really lightly in the first drop, and the idea is to kind of like plant the seed in the listener's brain that this melody exists, and it's going to come through in full force later on in the track. And so you'll see that here in this part of the first drop. Oh wait, it's not there. Okay, so you'll see this lead layer here has that same melody. It's gated, but if I ungate it, you'll hear it. Dun, 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 dun. So it kind of like starts getting signaled in the first drop. And so that's using this lead layer, which is again just a dust layer. I think we already went through that one. And then I've got this layer on the drop, which is a vocal sample. Sounds like that. And it's got a chorus on it. This Juno 6 chorus. And pretty much the same wet rack that I had from the other lead. So this is just one of the layers. Then I've got a few more layers here from this big lead group. So there's one layer. And a noise layer there. So yeah, I'll quickly go through these layers just to show you what they are. I'm going to have to unfreeze this and it might break my CPU, but let's see. So yeah, first layer is this lead Sharon layer. And I'm automating like the cutoff and it kind of closes as this progression goes on. I'm not going to go through like all of the chains for each layer. I think it's going to make this tutorial go a bit slow. But yeah, I'll just quickly show them. So this one's got like a lot of kind of like pitchiness to it. Okay, so the automation of the pitch is actually being done here under the envelopes section in the MIDI control. Yeah, so pitch bend, and you can just see that pitch is up. And I think just these like little pitch bends help the lead stand out a little bit more. Then we've got this layer. And again, a duplication of that same layer. I think I just processed them all like differently to kind of really fill that lead out. Oh, it looks like I changed here the digital to the digital oscillator, using different waveforms, so they sound different. And then lastly, you've got the noise layer, which is all the oscillators are turned off except for the noise oscillator. And then I don't have like any wetness on this. It's got satin on it. And that's just distorting the sound. Okay. All right. So some other things might be interesting. The atmosphere plays a pretty big part of this track. Like if I have to play this without any atmosphere, you'll see how different it sounds. Loses a lot of the emotion I feel without the atmosphere. So the atmosphere is actually coming from my Atmospheres pack, Basic Waves Atmospheres pack. And what I did was just stack a bunch of the E minor atmospheres. So here you'll see in the E minor. So if we stack all of these together, then I added one of the G minor ones, I guess I probably just pitched that. Yeah, +4 semitones. And then on top of those, I've got this pad. I use this one so much. This Omnisphere pad, Sacred Shrine. And I basically just write like some chords that sound nice, like usually just 2-note chords. Well, in this case, 4 notes on that one. That sounds like this. And then got this texture. I think that's from Callum's pack. What is it called again? Ethereal Textures, I guess. I'll ask him, and we'll put a link to it. But yeah, this one sounds like that. It kind of just keeps growing through the track. Oh, and then I have these like vocals that are stuttered. So they follow the trigger again. I'm not really sure what pack this is from. I think I just searched on Splice for like vocals and found that. And then I got some little clap fills in there. It's just an 808 clap with delay and reverb on it. So yeah, those are basically how the pads were done. I think they do change throughout the track somewhat. Not really, actually. Never mind. And then the sub. So for some reason I froze and flattened the sub. I feel like I had some CPU issues or something. So a lot of the stuff has been frozen. And I looked and I can't find an old version with the sub, so I can't remember how I did it. But it sounds like a really simple, just saw wave with the filter. And then I got this tribal chant. Which you may have remembered me using in my kind of music tutorial. Actually, this track came out of that tutorial. So a lot of the drums and stuff and this like vocal sample, what I did was I took that tutorial because I really liked how the drums felt and stuff. The rest of it I wasn't like super happy with. Although I know a lot of people have been messaging me saying I should release that one. I ended up like basically recycling that project into this one. So yeah, the kick is from my kick pack. It's it's actually from my drum pack, this one. So you go into kicks here. That's G16, this one. And yeah, nothing special happening there. And then as for the drums, I've got this tom, which I believe I made with my Afro tom rack. Which is on my Patreon, I think. It's this Afro tom rack. Or if you play that like at a lower octave, you can make some pretty cool patterns with it, and it's all in tune. So it's one of my favorite racks I've ever made. I use it all the time. I've got some dirt in there. So again, from the Atmospheres pack. Dirt 10. It's kind of like background dirt samples. And then shakers wise, these are shakers from Deep Organic Percussion, which is this pack. So yeah, I used my own packs through this project pretty extensively. But anyway, it's these two samples. The shakers add quite a lot to this track, so without them... yeah, the shakers really fill it out. Okay, then we have an operator shaker. So how I made this was basically I just took operator, used the white noise oscillator on it, and then just used the envelope and opened up the envelope. So through the first half, it's really just a straight shaker like that. And then I start opening up the decay on the envelope. And then take that over into like the drop for the climax, which sounds really good. Adds a lot of energy without it. Okay, then I got this cajon loop that I've rendered down again. This is from Deep Organic Percussion. Tambourine that lands every once in a while. And then a conga. Triangle. I think the triangle is also from Diva Organic Percussion. It's I think it's under one shots processed, and it's like have metallic one shots here. Somewhere there. I feel like it was one of these ones. And I just pitched it obviously into key and then shortened the envelope on it. And made this 16th note pattern. So yeah, we start putting these drums all together. Kick. It's a really like groovy drum groove. Okay, they got the main hat here, which is this open hat from, where is that from? I think it might be from Gentle Hats and Shakers. And then another second layer, which is just operator white noise. And that's also got like a bunch of automation on it. Here I've got like a delay that opens up. And like pitches around. More hats. More hats. And then SSS shaker, that would have come from Shimmer Shake Strike, which is like a contact sampler thing. And then got this drone that runs through, and that's just operator running in parallel. And we've got 3 oscillators, 2 sine waves, an octave apart, oops, and a noise oscillator with an LFO, basically just having that pitch drifting around, very small amount, 3%, and a saturator on there, saturating it, and then I'm taking out like highs and lows from it. And that runs through the whole track. I think that's it. In terms of like the processing on the group, I have... Is this portal doing anything? I think I just used the portal for like the radio edit. Kind of. Yeah, just for that like little tail at the end. I've got a Pro MB on the Everything Else group that's sidechaining the low end to the kick. That's not something I do very often, so I don't know why I did there, but anyway, I did. Yeah, there's nothing really special happening on that processing-wise. It's all just like automating out low end and automating some reverb. And then on the master, I did the master myself. So in the final version, this is the master. I've got newfangled audios saturate on the master. Let me actually turn these all off, and then you can hear how each plugin affected it. Yeah, so starting at the beginning, got newfangled saturate, doing 5 dB of drive, then Pro MB, and that's kind of just compressing the mid-range a little bit, and the highs, just a touch though, it's really like just touching it. And I've got this parallel compressor by Baby Audio. And if you want to hear how much this is compressing it, you can just bring up the parallel signal all the way. Or you have to kind of bring down the output to accurately hear it, otherwise it's just distorting. But yeah, it's compressing it pretty hard. And I'm just mixing in that parallel signal. And then again, a bit more parallel compression with OTT at 5%. Pro Q3. Doing a little bit of reduction around 1K and at 7K and lifting the highs a little bit. Then a little bit more compression. Gentle blue compression. Then this is where like all the loudness comes from. We've got 3 limiters running in serial. And the idea here was to just have each one doing a little bit of limiting as opposed to like one limiter doing all the work. Here you can see that's the first limiter, second limiter, third limiter. And that's it. The rest is just, yeah, span is just a visualizer and utility. Okay, cool. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.